Well, I hear we're all live, Hollin.
Hey!
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the non-digital world. We're analog, except for all this technology we have going around us. I know every one of y'all, and that's really cool. It feels great to be back out in the world playing a little bit, y'all. Thanks for coming in. And I know you know the guest tonight, Mr. Hollin McKay. Hollin's by far one of my favorites out here in the Hill Country, not only to play music and listen to his music, but to get to visit with. I think this is about the fourth time you've been on this show,
right.
Hollin.
Yeah.
I think you were a host one time.
This is correct.
I threw you to the wolves and let you host the thing.
I enjoyed every minute of it, every time.
We were talking, that was Miss Kim Watts that was your guest.
That was a crazy one.
Yeah. That episode is out on SoundCloud. Folks, it's recorded and logged for evidence.
Yes, pray to that.
Well, it's so fun to be back in the house, and as y'all know, this is the Outsiders Songwriter Spotlight Series. You're going to hear some facts and fiction about Hollin McKay here coming up, and we'll just have a good time tonight catching up. I'm going to throw a song out there to you. Act like I remember how to play. It's been a while. Well, tell me how the cow ate the cabbage, pull the wool over my eyes. Can you carry your own baggage? Do all your views make me wise? Easy as snapping peas, don't make a hill of beans. It's small potatoes. It's small potatoes. Now worry warts make mounds of molehills. Pessimist cup has never been filled. And old neighbor Jones, he's always had enough. I'm so tired of this keeping up. I got a cat by the tail, I gotta fill my own pail. It's small potatoes. It's small potatoes. She's a walking habit of the Dust Bowl days. Gert stretches dollars at the 5 and dime. Buries all her problems back of the garden and only pays interest on borrowed time. Turns sow's ears to purses of silk. Never sits crying over spilt milk. It's small potatoes. It's small potatoes. That's the way it goes. Well, in a glass house, you shouldn't throw stones. The lights are on, but nobody's home. Just the pot, calling the kettle black. It's 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. Make a right turn, you got it made. When you get lemons, make lemonade. It's small potatoes. It's small potatoes. Well, another day, and barely a dollar. A penny saved is a penny earned. I keep my nose to the grindstone, singing cliches about lessons learned. When you're by yourself, you're never alone. Is the grass greener on the other side? Well, all I know is it's small potatoes. It's small potatoes. Just say that if you're having a bad day, it'll put a smile right there on your face. And you'll never cook the same.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. I think it's only been about 2 months since I played that. It feels like it. Well, folks, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hollin McKay and let him kick us off with whatever he wants. Hollin, welcome back, man.
Stephen, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Man,
I'm so glad. Was you dry?
Always a blast to be on stage with you.
I appreciate that. Likewise.
It's good to get back into the swing of things here. I guess I'm gonna do a song called Lila Jane. It's about a man, a horse, and a dance. Set in Uvalde County, just outside of a little town called Campwood, Texas. I don't know, late 1800s, something like that. So. Takes 2 days to get to town, and I swear it's been so long. I can see through the holes in my boot soles. I'm gonna dance in the street, buy a new pair of jeans, new shirt and a hat to please the girls, all the pretty girls. In the corner of my eye, I can see light into the west. I gotta beat that storm if I can. 4 more miles to go until I get across the riverbed, and all my horse wants to do is rest. Gonna dance in the street, buy a new pair of jeans, new shirt and a hat to please the girls. All the money that I made for 2 months I put away, all for the likes of Lila Jane, pretty Lila Jane. Lila Jane's got eyes of green, the kind I've never seen. I love her, she floats across the floor. In a cotton dress, she loves to dance to the schottische and the waltz, and all the ranching standing home. I'm gonna dance in the street, buy a new pair of jeans, new shirt and a hat to please the girls. And all the money that I made for 2 months I put away, all for the likes of Lila Jane, pretty Lila Jane.
Nice, man.
Lila Jane. Thank you.
He kicked it off with one of my favorites. That's Mr. Hollin McKay, y'all. We're glad to have him back here at Western Edge Cellars. I'm glad to be sitting next to him trading songs. And if you're out there listening on KFAM 107.9 FM or Texas Rebel Radio, thanks for tuning in. Please check us out on our full videos. New YouTube channel, the Outsider Songwriter Spotlight Series. You can see this episode and many others that we've put along, cataloged there on YouTube. And that's new to you this time, Hollin. I probably sprung that on you a little late.
I'm thrilled.
I hope you wore what you wanted for the cameras. Would it have changed your mind?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe so. In these days, we've all been staying home quite a bit, and I'm sure that the honey-do list, like mine at home, is busy and long right now, being in the middle of this COVID world that we're living in. And What's kept you busy while you found
You know,
yourself at home?
I was thinking I was gonna order a clown suit off of Amazon, you know, and start like a segment of clown songs. And
Clown
I
songs?
was gonna start that actually tonight, and I waited, and I regret that. Now that I know,
I think you should have.
I think it would have. Yeah,
We could have had a show within a show.
Had a little flair to it there.
Do you juggle?
I don't, but it's never too late to learn.
That's right.
Yeah.
We have lots of time, like I said.
No, I'm not quite coordinated enough to do that, but I'll take a shot at it.
Yeah, I'll be your first guest. I'll just get out there and watch. I'm sure you could pull it off. You're a man of many talents.
You would be surprised.
Well, Hollin, so glad to have you back. For those out there listening that don't know, you're from Bandera, Texas, and you're one of the guys that has held up and stayed in Bandera. Not your whole life, but you've moved around, but you are back to home country, I guess.
I did. I moved back, 15 years ago, something like that. And so, I had missed the hill country horribly, and so I decided to get back out of the city and back home.
Back home.
Back home to the hills. Yep.
It's hard to shake your roots loose, right?
It really is. It really is. Yeah. There's something about that south wind coming up from Coahuila.
And your song, you said, was Camp Verde area? Is that?
No, there was Camp Wood. So
Camp
that's
Wood.
Just north of Uvalde. Yeah.
Okay.
And the
Further
Nueces,
south.
Nueces Canyon. Yeah, that's where my heart's.
If I'm not mistaken, Camp Verde's closer. It's
just
up,
a little bit. Yeah.
Up by Hunt and just south of Hunt, I guess.
I think it's right in between Bandera and Kerrville. Camp Verde is.
Okay. Yeah, that's all your stomping grounds out there, I guess.
Yeah,
you probably spent a lot of time driving those back roads.
Yeah, a lot of back roads. I'll do a song about that here in a little bit.
So how's Bandera been holding up through our slower days with the virus scare and quarantine?
It's kind of a shock, I'd say. There's a lot of empty streets, and but that's kind of how it was when I was a kid. So it's not. It's like I'm having flashbacks to being 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I started coming to Fredericksburg. I've been out of. We are Fredericksburgers. As y'all can tell, I haven't been doing a lot of interviews lately, and I started visiting down here about 20 years ago, and this has been more like it felt then.
Right.
Before the wine industry exploded, and a little quieter during the weeks. And,
exactly.
Of course, it's carried on through the weekends this last couple months. But and there's a bit of a peacefulness that came with it. It's kind of like you said, you go back in time a little bit.
I think so too. Yeah. And in fact, I would. My parents had a place right off of the Medina Lake, and I don't know, about 3 weeks ago, something like that, I took my son down there, and I have never been able to see more than 2 feet in that lake, and I swear to you, I could see more than 8.
Wow.
Yeah, without boats on that lake, man, everything cleared up. I could see bass. It was nuts. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And so
it's been a strange experience. It's fairly dystopian in a lot of ways.
I think so. Yeah.
But I think most people have the frame of mind to try to focus on what's important and home right now. And
seems to be the case. It appears that people are exceptionally resilient, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
So,
I think we have to be that way, and I can tell you, being stuck at home for a while, we can't be in better places than Fredericksburg or Bandera. I empathize with the folks that are in the middle of the city, and we've all done that. You spent your time around Austin, and I lived in Dallas for quite a while, and I might be going a little more stir crazy if I was back in the city.
I think I would have too, by far. Yeah. I don't know. It's it's going to make people be a little more creative, I think.
I think so. Have you found time to get back to the pen and paper?
I haven't.
I've got.
I probably have 4 songs that I'm, speaking of juggling, that I'm kind of got in the air.
Right. And you released your most recent album, Misfit Town. Was it last year?
That was that was year before last. Yeah.
So
it was the very end of 17, so the beginning of 18.
Okay. Time flies, man.
It really does. Yeah.
I guess it's time for a new one.
It is. Way overdue. Yeah.
Well, share another song if you will.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you were talking about county roads and how things kind of change on you. This is a song I wrote about growing up in Bandera. And as a kid going to high school, we used to take the back roads, and there was this one in particular that had, I don't know, it probably had a mile out of 8 miles of it that was paved, and the rest of it was caliche. So,
sticky stuff.
Yeah. So I kind of wrote this song about that. And it's called County Road. I spent my better days in the summertime, hanging out with my old friends, stealing stop signs. And this town was smaller then, the night would last so long, then fade into the dawn. Van that he never drove, and I'd take it late some nights down the county roads. This town was smaller then, the night would last so long, then fade into the dawn. All these hidden places I used to go, they blew away with the dust from the county roads. They paved over every mile of my soul. I was out of know. Summer days that came and went, I stuck around, and I guess I lost half my friends, some I never found. And this town was smaller then, the night would last so long, then fade into the dawn. This town was smaller then, the night would last so long, then fade into the dawn. Nice, y'all.
County Road.
County Road, yeah.
Yeah, that's Mr. Hollin McKay. Welcome in, y'all. Mr. Hollin McKay, and that's an older song, isn't it?
It is an older song, yeah. I wrote that, I don't know. Where are we at? 20?
Time flies.
I probably wrote that in 2006, maybe,
Okay.
or 7, something like that.
Yeah. I knew it wasn't on this previous album, but
No, it was
a
before
couple-
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I remember writing that now. I was still in San Antonio at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
We, for those listeners out there that don't know Mr. Hollin McKay, you have a rich history here in the Texas music scene with songwriting, and you mentioned in that song a lot of good memories. You mentioned your brother, and I
Very much so.
And you and your brother made a great impact on the hill country in Texas, and y'all traveled quite extensively for a while with your band, the McKay Brothers.
We did,
And,
yeah.
Self-named there for your daddy's name, I guess.
Yeah.
And y'all really made the miles for quite a few years. When I first started jumping into the scene, I was seeing you guys all over the place. I wasn't quite in it. I was watching and studying, and I'm thinking late 90s, early 2000s.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Y'all were really making some dust and opening up for some big names and making a big name for yourself.
We were very busy, yeah. We spent a lot of time. Thanks for that. It's been a long road. Speaking of county roads, yeah.
You in the band, it was fun. I mentioned you were multi-talented. You're not only a guitar player, you're a bass player, and that was your primary instrument.
That's correct,
in the
yeah.
McKay Brothers. And what was first, guitar or bass? I don't remember. We've talked about it, but I can't remember.
Excuse me. Let's see. In the beginning, I learned how to play guitar pretty early on, and then in high school, I joined the jazz band. Their band era had a jazz band, and I had hoped to go in and play guitar. They didn't need a guitar player, so they said, "Hey, would you play bass?" And so I fell in love with playing bass.
Nice.
And then did that many years. My brother and I had we had a cover band in San Antonio early on, and I played bass then. And then
it had a fun name, and I can't remember some.
Oh, we had several, Stephen, and I will not go down that road.
You're not going to go down that road? There was one, and it's on another interview that we've done, I think, so that's enticed the listeners to go hear some of the other interviews. But I think you named one of the young band names.
Right. So by the time we moved to Austin, we became the Laughing Dogs.
That's what it was,
yeah,
Laughing Dogs.
So for several years, we were the Laughing Dogs. In fact, we did a record with Dave Heath, who, God, I fell in love with. Dave was awesome. He passed away a couple years ago. Dave was phenomenal bass player in and of his own right. He played bass for Robert O'Keen for many years, and was also from Lubbock. I was born in Lubbock, and so we had a lot. All of us had a lot in common, and so we became really good friends with Dave, and did a record with him. In 2000, would have been 96 or 97. And then by 2000, my brother and I decided to call ourselves the McKay Brothers. And so we switched gears and spent a lot of time on the road, man. We averaged...
That name alone might have broadened your audience.
Quite a bit, yeah. No,
of course, around Austin, Laughing Dogs might have been okay.
It was time. It was time. I think both of us... Part of it was that we had always had some country roots in what we were doing as the Laughing Dogs, but we really focused on the rural aspect of how we grew up, and we've got family in Frio County that have been there for 7 generations, and so that I think that really kind of boiled up to the top, and both of us still love to write songs that incorporate what it's like to be Texan in a way, I guess.
Right.
That's kind of a cliche thing to say, but we're as you are a Texan also. We're kind of in our own island.
Yeah, I think
in a way
we look at it like that in a way, but you do have that long Texas heritage that you can pinpoint, and some of us don't. I know I'm more recently immigrated to I'm from Texas, but my as early as my grandparents were migrants through Arkansas and Oklahoma and that area, and a lot of Native American background.
Right,
and which is down here as well. The Comanche were big to here, and Fredericksburg has the longest standing treaty with the Comanche.
That is correct.
And,
was,
so your family, 6-7 generations back, were right in the middle of
they were
that era.
Kind of in the middle of that era, Yep. Yeah, I have a great somewhere back there grandfather that was one of the first Methodist circuit riders to get into the area.
Yeah.
On my great grandmother's side. So
that's amazing history there.
It's I tell you what, you get out in the middle of parts of South Texas in July and August, and you think about what it's like to survive without air conditioning and you know,
right.
pavement and cars, and it's a shocker, man. It was not easy.
Yeah.
It was not an easy life.
I'm a North Texas boy, so the hill country is like an amazing climate compared to outside of Wichita Falls. Mm-hmm. But if you think about roughing it like that,
oh man,
none of these climates in Texas are real easy year round.
Oh no, yeah.
And the brush and hills and valleys and but what a great place to be from, and a treasure to know your history like that.
I was very blessed on that level. I was very close to the family on my mother's side, which is Frio County area, and you know, my great-grandfather started a water well company in 1928. My grandfather carried that on for a while, and so McKinley Drilling
is that right? I didn't know that.
Built and had, you know, he had stories about the Great Depression and how, you know, back then they were essential because they were a water well company. And so there was a lot of stuff. He used to tell me there was a lot of stuff that they could get that a lot of people couldn't get, like batteries and tires. And
they had access to
during the height of the Great Depression when things were really, really rough. Yeah. And
there's a great history, and right now, you know, during this epidemic or pandemic we're living in, they compare the you know, joblessness to that of the Great Depression era.
I think it's very similar, yeah.
Although our society is much more cush, you know, where it's not as hard on more people. There's still a lot of people hurting, but even more so back in those days when your granddad was punching holes in the ground.
That's right, yeah.
But great history there, Hollin. And I know, like you were mentioning and coming from there, is that y'all have drawn from that history and the working man's life, and a lot of that history falls in your songs and shows up in the characters and family. So can we hear another one?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I wasn't even thinking about that.
It's fun to talk, but I guess we should throw some music in too.
Let's see here. Something called Hard to Explain. It's about a couple passing through town there in Bandera. Entirely fictitious song. None of this is real, as is a good deal of my virtual life. What is now the Shell station in Bandera used to be a Texaco, and so I started thinking about how people passing through got to get gas, and they're just kind of, you know, on their way somewhere else. And it also kind of tied into the drought and how, you know, there are times when you just got to get away when things get a little rough. So. Came across an old man sitting on the hood of his car, waiting for his wife to come back with cigarettes. They'd been gone for some time. They called their home San Angelo. They were headed east to see folks in Tennessee. Love the smell of the asphalt in the rain, and the sound of the trucks in the passing lane, and the feel of the sunlight on his face, in a world he finds hard to explain. He said things had been bad drought ain't ever gonna end. The fields of wheat, they've turned to ash. They blew away like smoke. Dust to dust, they scattered in the wind. He loved the smell, the asphalt in the rain, and the sound of the trucks in the passing lane, and the feel of the sunlight on his face. In a world he finds hard to explain. They pulled out of the Texaco, headed south on 16 for a destination they had yet to find. Foolishly I waved at them, he waved back at me. Somehow he knew, even though he was blind. He loved the smell, the asphalt in the rain, and the sound of the trucks in the passing lane, and the feel of the sunlight on his face. In a world he finds hard to explain. Yeah, a world we all find hard to explain.
Very nice. That's Mr. Hollin McKay, y'all. He's our guest tonight on the Outsider Songwriter Spotlight Series. I'm your host, Stephen K. Morris. I have fun doing this and glad to see Hollin in town and playing music.
It's a blast to be back.
I want to let the listeners know out there here and on KFAM 107.9 FM that you can look up Hollin online, hollinmckay.com, and that's HOLLIN MCKAY.
Yeah.
Yep. Hollin McKay. You can find him online at his website and also on Facebook. Of course, people are always on the face space, right?
Book of Faces,
That's right.
ever so blurry.
It is blurry at 2 in the morning when you can't sleep.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to take a little moment here to thank some sponsors that help keep this show rolling, and they're all small businesses. They could use your attention, especially the last couple months this spring here in 2020. One of those is the Tobacco House. They're purveyors of cheap talk and fine tobacco. They've got a great walk-in humidor, a full bar, a fantastic lounge to smoke your favorite Vitola. So look the Tobacco House up when you get to Fredericksburg. Go to 109 South Washington Street across from the Nimitz Museum. Find your favorite cigar or pipe tobacco. And look them up online, tabak-haus.com. Also, the Texas Silver Rush. They make fine custom-made silver and stone jewelry. You'll feel like the rock stars they designed for when you shop at the Texas Silver Rush. I know we got a big Texas Silver Rush fan in the house. Miss Jamie Morris is hanging out back there, and they've been doing some good online sales as we go through this COVID situation. So get on their Facebook at the Texas Silver Rush or online at the same name, thetexassilverrush.com. And last but not least, when you're in the Texas Hill Country, call Majesty Wine Tours. They'll drive you to drink, and they'll treat you like royalty. They'll take you to all the favorite wineries and scenes around the Hill Country and get you back to your B&B or hotel safely. They're online at majestywinetours.com. So give those sponsors a call. Show them the support that they show us here on the show. They help keep this thing rolling each week and keep us out on KFAN 107.9 FM. Well, Hollin, that's the business side of this venture. And those guys are so good to us. Most of them have been with me for a couple of years now or more. And I've been right here at Western Edge Cellars every Wednesday night for going on 3 years, I'm thinking. And we started about 3 years ago in this room. You were one of my first guests when I started this show prior to us doing this on the radio and our YouTube channel over at the Auslander, and they got a great little beer garden. And I knew when you came to be on my show, then the Auslander was no strange venue to you.
No,
you probably had played there for quite a few years.
Yeah,
when you came through
several
Fredericksburg.
shows, yeah, it was. I vividly remember that show. That was a blast.
It was fun. I think it was hot that day.
That was a hot day. Yeah.
We're kind of spoiled here in Western Edge. We got good air conditioning, and especially when the summer starts cranking up. And this year has been an unusually mild spring so far, and I hope it stays that way.
So far, so good. We'll see.
Well, Hollin, we mentioned your most recent album, Misfit Town, and you said you're getting a little writing done. You're kind of juggling some songs that you're working on getting done. You have any scope of when you might have a new project out?
That's a good question. I think I'm probably going to start. I'll start getting into that carnival of recording pretty soon. I think within the next 2 or 3 months.
You did a lot of the recording on this one yourself.
I did about half and half. Yeah. The acoustic guitars and the vocals I did at home, and then did the rest at a studio in Austin called Single Pitch. Really good friends of mine, Jeff Botta, had built, and it was. That was a blast. I enjoyed doing that. I was exceptionally blessed to have friends come in on that record. I had Jamie Lynn Wilson come out and sing some harmonies on 3 of the tracks. Same with Robin Ludwig. She came out and did some stuff for me.
Can't go wrong with either one of them.
No, they had been friends of mine for many years, and I was really thrilled that they would come out and do what they did. They're stellar. They're phenomenal songwriters and performers in and of their own right, and I think I could not have done better. For the first time in my life, I mapped it out, and it actually worked. Yeah, I got what I wanted out of it. So
and was this your first solo album?
That was my first solo record. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but you're no stranger to the studio. You have numerous albums out with the McKay brothers and older projects before McKay brothers. And so you're getting now to where you feel like it's going a little smoother in the studio. And I'm not suggesting anything negative about the other albums you've been on.
No, not at all.
I know the feeling of working in the studio and getting things to go your way, so to speak.
Right. I think, I'm very enamored with the way records used to work and how you can, they're kind of a snapshot of that time. Stuff like Redheaded Stranger, Phases and Stages, and
absolutely.
They're back then and even to this day, there are records that are a whole. There's it's like I said, it's like a picture,
right? And
so I really kind of approached doing albums that way, and I was really lucky not only to work with my brother, but also with people like Gerf Morlix and Lloyd Maines, who just are, they're bulletproof when it comes to what they do. They're
the
phenomenally talented, and they're the who's who because of what they are able to hear and what they can create through that kind of vision, so to speak. And I mean, Lloyd with the Maines brothers, those guys did records with Terry Allen, and they're just, I can't say enough about those. Those still hold up. I mean, same thing with Garf. You're the stuff he did with Lucinda Williams is phenomenal. And
he really made her career skyrocket. I think.
I think so. And he, it's still to this day he does stuff for his own records, and he's done Robin Ludwig's records, and they're both phenomenal producers and really have a good ear.
I think so, and I think there's an angle that you mentioned Gerf and Lloyd. They both really focus on songwriters well.
They really do,
because
yes,
there's
yeah.
probably way different approaches than the big band or the rockin' band or the big country band.
Very
the
much
songwriter
so,
approach
yeah.
is so much. I want to use the word sparse, and in some instances, that's the exact case. They leave big air for the words and for the story.
They do. They both have a knack for making the actual writing of the song come through the recording, as opposed to being a wall of sound.
Right.
So
They can do it when it's appropriate, but it's
They can.
generally-
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Great cast of characters you've had the pleasure of working
I've
with
been
over the
very
years.
blessed
Yeah.
on that level. Yeah, I've been very lucky. Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to hear the next one.
Oh, thanks, Stephen.
But for those that don't have
Let's see.
Misfit Town, I highly recommend it. I know K-Fan's been spinning that one for a year or so now.
Yeah, that's
and,
awesome. I'm so lucky.
Yeah,
that
it's
they got
good
behind
stuff
it,
out there
so,
too.
yeah.
So. Well, Hollin, if you want to throw another one in, I'm ready to hear another song.
Sure. Yeah, I'll do something off that record. Let's see here. Make sure this thing's in tune here. Song called "Don't You Cry," and it's another one of those songs that really has no factual basis to it. I started thinking about a couple in Austin that broke up, and how the character in it was looking to get away. And so anyway, it's called "Don't You Cry." You cry, the world is on your side. I know you feel bad, he left you high and dry, but it's not your fault, he just disappeared. He left the best thing that he ever had. Honey, I think that's clear. Honey, don't you cry. We're gonna slip away. We'll go to New Orleans, hang out with our friends down on Magazine Street. There's Lazy Dave and Adeline, and we can stay with him and drink some of Dave's homemade wine. Honey, don't you cry. It's a long, long way from here down to the sea. By the time we hit the state line, you'll forget his name. You can't look back. If you do, it'll make you sad. You're better off leaving this town in its misery. Honey, don't you cry. So you're finally free from things that brought you down. It's good to see you smile again. I know it's been a while. Don't be afraid to let the sunshine us good friends. Honey, don't you cry. Honey, don't you cry. Honey, don't you cry.
All right. Mr. Hollin McKay, y'all. Happy to have him as a guest tonight here on The Outsider.
So good to be here, Steven.
Yeah,
Thanks.
man. I feel like I've been in a cave the last couple months.
You and me both.
Yeah. We're getting there, you know. It's coming back. We've got a few of our favorite people sitting in front of us tonight. We appreciate our crowd coming out to Western Edge Cellars. Our crowd coming out to Western Edge Cellars.
Hey, there, it's alive. Amazing. I forgot what that was like.
Yeah.
That was shocking.
It's
Man.
the only reason we wanted to come back, y'all. We've been doing those Facebook things, which is fun, you know, the live streaming. And Hollin and I think the first week I did that, we kind of tag teamed and did
That's
a little
right.
back-to-back show. And we should do some more of that. And, you know, we talk about the evolution of things with music, and anymore, when I talk to guys about music, I have to think about kind of how old they are. And I don't usually think about people's age, but if I'm sitting with a musician that's in their 20s or under 30 years old, and you ask them about making an album, they might look at you funny because
Kind of shocked.
yeah, because with the technology these days and how quick you can put out media and content, a lot of folks are releasing things one at a time or a couple at a time, or even back to just the EPs on a more regular basis.
I see that trend. Yeah.
And then as we speak about how the times have been recently, we're jumping on Facebook or other media and doing little live shows to maintain. And that's been coming along the last few years. And thankfully we've had it the last couple months to reach out and be able to share music and having actually the blessing of nice audiences tuning in to do it. So,
yes, very much so. The support has been phenomenal.
It has.
Really.
And I know I appreciate the folks out there, and it gives me a little bit of the feeling that we're connecting with folks listening. It's digital, and it's kind of a little thin veil, but we know our friends are out there on the other side. It doesn't beat sitting in here with real people.
It really doesn't. No, I got to say. No.
Yeah. It's much better this way. So, well, Hollin, if you don't mind, I'll throw one in, and then we'll talk some more and get you to play another one before we get off the radio hour
Sure,
and
that'd be
off
awesome.
the show here. Just have to figure out which one to play. Oh, you want to hear that? Thank you, Zach. Let's see if I can get through this. This is kind of a new one, and appreciate Zach Clark. He's the video producer of this show now. We've got a brand new YouTube channel, and there's already about 5 or 6 shows out there you can hear and listen, or see and listen to. And so y'all jump online, go to YouTube, and get on the Outsider Songwriter Spotlight Series. Continue to listen to this show on KFAN 107.9 FM and Texas Rebel Radio. Kind of fun, isn't it, Hollin? You're probably my 7th or 8th that we've done this full video on, and I appreciate you being one of our early guests on this.
I enjoy it. Thanks for having me.
I think it's very appropriate because you were one of my earliest guests, as we mentioned earlier, a few years ago, before we were recording anything, and I guess it's a necessity in this world of digital media. This is a new song, and I appreciate Zach for asking for it. I wrote this a while back, and on the topic of the pipeline coming through the hill country. And it's not directly pointed at the pipeline, but I had to take a perspective of a being or a creature that might be in the way. I once lived where you built a house and paved my hard-earned in. You cast me out into the dark and claimed I don't fit in. I watch you work in bright daylight for so-called honest pay. on land where you state your claim, eminent domain. You posted a price upon my head for what I call surviving. Now I owe a mountain of debt for what you call conniving. Could it be this disdain for me is the feeling you threw away? The shadow you cast hides a path that makes you act this way. I'm a desert-dwelling heathen. I can hear you breathing. I can taste your blood when you're not bleeding. I can see your body glow and read your twisted mind. Hear your heart beating and stop it on a dime. Well, the way I feel ain't the way I look, but that doesn't matter to you. My description won't fit in a book whose pages number so few. So I shed my skin again and again, and I try to stay out of sight. I have nothing and nothing to gain but to hunt another night. Don't tread on me, I rattle and shake. Don't tread on me, I slither and slide. Don't tread on me, I got an evil bite. I'm a lost soul finder, sidewinder. Well, I moved my hunger out of your town and made this desert my home. And I scraped by on barren ground and lived by rules of my own. I didn't cross the lines you laid, but again I'm under your feet. When I'm blessed to pray, well, every man's gotta eat. Don't tread on me, I rattle and shake. Don't tread on me, I slither and slide. Don't tread on me, I got an evil bite. I'm a lost soul finder, sidewinder. This ain't hate I spread, my friend, but I was better left alone. Your footfall brings a hard day's end. Now let the venom flow. All right. Thank y'all. Hey, I appreciate that. Feels good to be back in front of real live people. I think that's called Don't Tread on Me. That's a brand new song, and it's always shaky playing a new song in public, isn't it, Hollin?
Every time.
Let's welcome back Mr. Hollin McKay. He's our guest tonight on The Outsider.
Good to be here. It is good to be here. I have missed it sorely.
Definitely one of my favorite hill country songwriters and human beings. He from Bandera, Texas, as it is, and I'm glad you're here, man.
Likewise, Steven.
Yep.
I gotta say, I love that last one, man.
Thanks a lot, man.
I could see it as it went by too, and that's like, the mark for me.
Cool, man.
Really well-written song.
I work harder and harder on, and I know this is something we think about writing is like the imagery.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's our nature as we're younger to write emotional,
Sure,
representative songs, and that's
so,
maybe the easy part. Mm-hmm. But then actually putting the imagery with the emotion is the harder part for me sometimes, making up the scene,
right,
so to speak. And
Yeah, it goes back to I mean, there are literary heroes that I've got in addition to songwriting heroes like I don't know, Larry McMurtry and Steinbeck was
There
a
you go.
huge. Yeah, he was somebody who was really. I think there may be two of the books that he's written that I haven't read, and everything else I've really got into in my 20s. But yeah, McMurtry, man, Texasville, stuff like that. It's
Absolutely.
Just, yeah, his ability to put into words what he sees in his mind is phenomenal.
Yeah, so precisely that you're seeing the scene, even before the movies started coming out and doing the work for us, there was a reason those producers gravitated towards writing like that.
I think so. Yeah.
You can't, if you're listening to the words, you can't help but imagine what he's trying to describe there and doing it so well. And I can't fail to mention his son, James. As a songwriter, he does in 3 or 4 minutes what his dad was doing in novels, and and I don't know that he aspired to be like his dad, but I see a huge semblance of that. He didn't fall far from the tree.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think he's in a different. He created a completely different thing. I mean, there was the stuff he writes about, and how he makes you be there, like Choctaw Bingo and stuff like that. It's just, man, it's phenomenal. It's St. Mary's of the Woods is one of my favorite records.
Yeah.
Front to back, again, there's one of those records that's like from the beginning to the end is all, it's all pristine and it's all one. And that definitely carry over genetically.
Yeah,
Man,
absolutely.
yeah,
Whether
dude.
he was trying, and I know he's trying to make his own mark and does it so well, and I know you and your brother have written like that for a long time. The imagery was a priority, and characters especially, it seemed like, from my point of view, that was high on your list of check marks in a good song.
Yeah, and I think there are people that both of us look up to that are that kind of keep that bar pretty high. Guy Clark being one of them.
Absolutely.
And of course James McMurtry. That's I don't know. Like a sponge where you saturate yourself in the things that you love, and I think a lot of that was kind of subconscious, to a degree.
Yeah.
Some stuff, I guess, I've written that, probably 50 to 100 songs that never saw the light of day because they didn't stick with me. They weren't, they didn't stay in my craw, so to speak, So I don't know.
If it didn't capture your mind, you'd probably not rely on it.
I just lost
on it
interest,
to
and if
capture
I lose interest in it, I don't. It's an emotional outlet in a way, to purge whatever stuff is going on in your brain. So.
Absolutely. There's the outlet factor, and then there's the putting it in front of people where you really do want to represent that scene that you were thinking about.
Yeah, there's also songs that I will try out that I'll go back and I'll just completely gut, because of the reaction from people and stuff like that. So
I find a lot of the writings that I lay aside are ones that I can't make musical yet.
Right.
I can do the story,
yeah.
but for some reason they're a story, a short story or a poem. And some of them hang up getting to the music. Do you ever find that?
A lot. I have a lot. There's probably, I can think of at least 2 or 3 songs that sat for 10 years or more.
Yeah.
That never,
Rude.
Right, until the, it's like putting seeds into the dirt, man, until they germinate and come up.
Patience.
They're just going to sit there. And so,
it's like the garden,
It is like the garden, yeah. Some things come up, some don't.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Hollin, I'd love to hear another one before we have to jump off the radio hour here.
Man, I love talking to you so much, Stephen.
I do too.
Miss hanging out.
And I like that people like that side of this show, and that's always been the interest on my selfish side of it, is to talk music, because we don't get together and do these little powwows of just talking music. Usually when
Right, I know.
we're out at a regular show, it's
true.
Yeah, so it's fun, and I find it curious, strange that people enjoy it, but they do.
That's phenomenal. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better about what I do, you know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we can't, this is what we do. We can't really do anything else.
Yeah, I mean, don't try to do too much else.
Oh, yeah.
We have the have-tos.
Yeah, there are those days, Stephen. There are those days. Speaking of that, okay, I'll do a song that Walt requests sometimes.
All right.
This is off of Misfit Town. It's called Postcards, and this is like a collage of things that I put together. Some of them are real, some are not. So. Shovel in my hand, all rock, no sand, rock, no sand. What a way to go with a shovel in my hand, all rock, no sand, rock, no sand. I'm sending you a postcard from the bottom of a ditch. I'm sending you a postcard from the bottom of the ditch. All rock, no sand. Well, my dad said, see, at the age of 13, you don't want to spend your life on another man's greed. He built walls full of blood and stone and broke his back, nearly all his bones. He was sending me a postcard from the bottom of a ditch. He was sending me a postcard from the bottom of a ditch. All rock, no sand. Oh, man. So the stars at night you could see for miles been replaced by city lights. It'll break your soul, it'll make you cry, forsaken land and the light so bright. I'm sending you a postcard from the bottom of a ditch. I'm sending you a postcard from the bottom of the ditch. All rock, no sand. I should have stayed in school, made a better plan. Instead I'm in a ditch with a shovel in my hand.
Yeah. That's Mr. Hollin McKay, y'all. Glad to have him back on The Outsider. And we're glad to have a great audience coming about here in Fredericksburg. Things are starting to ease back out into the real world, and get out from behind the iPhones and be back in public is a great feeling. Thank y'all for being a great audience tonight. We're going to continue on, but that's the end of the hour on KFan 107.9 FM. I want to say hi to Mr. Jerry Sotelo. He's in the house, one of our favorite KFan and KNAF characters. We appreciate that station for keeping us going, and we appreciate you guys seeing us now on YouTube. Please, all of y'all, I know some of y'all get to come see us live here at Western Edge on Wednesday nights, 6:30 to 9, but if you're listening on Facebook or YouTube, thank you. If you're not on there, please go out and subscribe. If you subscribe and click the bell, we'll send you an email notification when a new show just like this is out. And for those of you interested in supporting the show, we have a Patreon page, which is brand new. We have one of our first patrons in the house tonight, and we appreciate that guy. He's eating tacos or something over there. And his lovely wife, Susan, is in the house. We appreciate her. So anyway, y'all tune in. Go to the Outsider Songwriter Spotlight Series on YouTube and keep following this show. When you're in Fredericksburg, we expect you to come on out and be a part of the live audience to see great artists like Hollin McKay. Y'all look Hollin up online, hollinmckay.com, and on Facebook. My name's Stephen K. Morris. We're going to call that a fun hour. We're going to take a short break and come back and share a bunch more music. Thanks for being here, y'all.
Thanks for having me, Stephen.
Thanks for being here, Hollin.
It's a pleasure, man.
It's a great time, man. It feels real. Hey folks, thanks for joining us online to watch the Outsider Songwriter Spotlight Series. That's right, we're taking this thing to a new level. Videos, every guest, every week. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell so you can be notified when we release new material. If you like the show and want to support us, you can tip through Venmo. There's a link below. Check out theoutsidersongwriter.com. That'll be up and coming soon. Thank you for your support over the last 4 years. The show's growing. We've had over 150 guests, and we promise to have a lot of new great songwriter guests. Please continue to share with your friends on your social media accounts. Come on into a show. Join us when you're in Fredericksburg. You can be a part of the live audience. Downtown under the dark of night, somewhere between shadow and light, over the edge of lost and found, you can hear neon, feel sound. Be well, folks. I know we're living in strange times. We'll get through this together. We'll see you soon.